You're using AI wrong. That's my WTF for today. For those that don't know, I'm Q Terry, and every day I ask myself, what's the future? I take detailed notes, store them in a journal. This year, I started recording those notes, and you are watching me live talk through that. So I got a call earlier today. It was like a call, my man was calling me complaining about AI. And I'm just like, dude, it's 2026, what are you complaining about? And he's like, man, it's 10 a.m., I hit my token limit, I can't get back on till 5 p.m. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And, I'm just like, supportive, like, man, what you using? I sent him a screenshot, showed him that I hit some token limits too. And then it hit me. I was like, he hit an AI cloud limit on the token side at 10 a.m. and he was frustrated. But that's not a problem. That's really a celebration. You should be excited that you hit your token limit. And here's why. My whole thesis for this, is that if you're not hitting your AI limits, you're using AI wrong. I want you to be in ChatGPT Pro, paying $20 a month, and they say, hey, you need to upgrade, big dog. We need you on this $200 plan. I want you in Claude, and it telling you, take a break. I want you to go to Gemini and try to use too many tokens. And here's why. Tokens, rate limits, quotas. People treat that like it's a failure, but it's really not. You're learning how to use the tool. So the way I think about it is if you really hit your token limit today, then that is your proof of engagement. Like you should like say I earned my stripes today. I took more than the AI wanted to give me today. And you really got to restructure this because hitting your limit means you actually did work today. Now, I ain't talking about the vibe coders that just be like, okay, do more. I got some for y'all, but I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the people that are really out here getting it in Claude, in Gemini, in chat, and they hitting their rate limits and they're frustrated, arguably. I get it, I do. But it's 2026 and we ain't about to be frustrated no more. Like you're using AI wrong if you're frustrated. So this is what I want you to think about. Because, I'm always, putting these WTFs together and it's like, what's the future? Well, the future is, I want you to take this goal, right, of hitting your rate limit. And I want you to celebrate it because I want you to reframe your behavior. I want you to go out and say, I'm going to hit my rate limit. I want you to build a habit out of hitting your rate limit. Then I want you to make an identity out of it where it's like, oh, yeah, I know how to prompt. I know how to prompt so well that I'm going to hit my rate limit today before 10 a.m. I'm going to go have a regular day. And then I might do some more vibe coding or processing at 5 p.m. when I get my tokens back. Or better yet, if you're building your streaks, and there's a lot of people out here that know about building streaks. Like I think about all the people that's on Duolingo. I think about all the people that's on the Bible app. I think about all the people that's posting streaks for whatever goal or mission that they have. Like for me, I'm running. I got running streaks on Strava. Like Strava is great for me as a runner because it helps me build a running identity and it gives me a space to basically capture those thoughts. AI is giving you that. And I want you to look at your chat or your Claude or whatever AI tool you're using. And I want you to be like, I'm hitting my streak today. And I don't want you to complain about it. I don't want you to be like, I got a Gemini account and I didn't hit the rate limit. Then why do you have the premium Gemini account? You just playing around. We live in a time where you can technologically have leverage. You can compete with some of the baddest just by understanding AI. And don't tell me that Q don't know what he's talking about. No, for sure, it's true. Mark Zuckerberg out here giving out hella pesos to people that's on the, what is that? Not the Reality Labs, the TBD Labs program. That's where the guy that's making, Ronaldo money is at. But we ain't gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. So if you didn't hit your rate limit, you ain't do a good job today. That's all I'm gonna say. Usage is the signal, rate limits are the feedback. You gotta go ahead and just kind of go into it. Now, you might be like, Q, I really like AI, it's a tool. You should not limit me on my tool. Look, for those that think AI is a tool, you definitely did a good job. You understood the assignment. But AI, at this point, there's tons of it. There's tons of AI tools. You got GPT, you got Claude, you got Mistral, you got Gemini, you got Llama. You got all the other open source models I'm not about to name. You got the Chinese models I'm not about to name. Then hold up, we got local models, we got cloud models, we got enterprise wrapped models. You know, everybody talking about, oh, I got a rapper. Well, you could use a rapper. You really could. My favorite rapper is Raycast AI. I'm not paid to say that, but they token limit is pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. You know, you can. I ain't gonna say too much more. If you know, you know. I ain't about to mess up my club. You know what I'm saying? But that's the rapper I'm gonna shout out. And so it's not a one model world anymore. It's just not. Like, if you live in 2026 and you're using AI, you got so many options. And I'm not even talking about the newer options, like, cause you got you got Claude Code, which isn't that new, but then you got Co-Work, which is like their version of an open source model. I'm not gonna get into the specificities, but those are things that you can go readily check out, download, play with, use. So it's not a one model world anymore. It's a portfolio of models. And I haven't met the person yet that's maxing out all the damn models. That's like going to the club and saying, I got all the models in the club. I haven't met that person. A$AP Rocky was close. I was in a club with him one time, and he did have about 10 chicks he was talking to all at once. And so if you were the A$AP Rocky of models, then okay, I can see it. But for a lot of these people, no, the models are the models. You ain't gonna have all the models. Either ChatGPT or the models on your Instagram feed. You're not gonna have all the models. You might be able to max out one, but you can't max out all of them. So complaining about the rate limit is like being in Best Buy talking about my phone dead. Bro, it's chargers everywhere. Do you have the audacity to go plug in? That's what I'm gonna say. So I never leave anybody without like a WTF, and this is what I would do. If I'm hitting my rate limits, I'm hitting my models, I would kind of look at it like this. The 3-part series that I would break this down would be, you got your cloud models, you got your local models, you have your enterprise or your wrapped models, right? And the limits don't mean stop. So if you're hitting your rate limit, it doesn't mean stop. It means route yourself around to a new model. And so cloud models, how do I use those? They're great to start. So if you're starting a project, use one of the cloud models. There's different models for different purposes. You know, you can ideate with chat, you could pressure test with Grok, you could finish with Claude, right? There, I just jumped around, routed out, and you can get pretty far in whatever phase of the project just by doing that. They're all rate limited, but they're great for burst of innovation, burst of work. If you got a local model, this is interesting. You have probably a little bit more technical acumen. You're running that model on your local computer. That means you have no rate limits. You're just hardware bound. We are in a great shortage of RAM right now. That means that memory is hard to come by. That means getting a model that works really well is not gonna be a thing for a lot of people. It might not even be affordable for a lot of people, especially right now. But it also means it's gonna be a little bit slower. But it is yours, and you're not bound by anything but your own budget and how much electricity and what type of graphics cards you got. So local models are great. You can learn a lot with local models. You can test, you can do edge cases with the local model, see how it performs, and then take it up to a cloud model. I've seen people do that, and it works wonders. Enterprise models, the wrap models, this is where I kind of like to thug it out. You're renting someone else's infrastructure. Somebody else either bought a local machine and they're putting it up and giving you access, or they got a cloud machine and they're partitioning it out and giving you access. It's pre-negotiated access. That's basically what it means. You're gonna give them set amount of money and they're gonna give you some access, and it's convenient, right? Because it's not on your machine, it's not on your account. And so the way I use this is where my Raycast comes into play. The model that's running on my MacBook for just general like notes and like really silly stuff, I don't need it to like be hitting my Claude. I don't need it to be hitting my OpenAI ChatGPT API tokens. I don't need it to be hitting even some of my local models. So I give that to Raycast, you give them a little bit of money, and then guess what? The limits don't stop. They just get routed around. So now it's really hard for me to hit all of my limits. Now, if you're using the IDEs, you probably know all the stuff I'm saying, but you got the VS Code, the cursors, the anti-gravities, all of that. Man, you just gotta, come on, big dog. You gotta just change the API keys. Just change the API keys. So I'll finish this. I'll look at it like this. The way I think about this is we're at a buffet. Some of y'all are greedy and just eating the same thing. So you literally go to the buffet and just get all the protein. Of course you're getting kicked out the buffet. You can't just get there and eat all the grilled chicken. Like, it is a buffet, it is all you can eat. I hear you on the semantics, but they gonna notice that you eating all the grilled chicken. So what you gotta do is you gotta go in and say, hey, my tokens, I gotta spread them out. I gotta go to a certain model providers and just literally think of my tokens as calories. They're not gonna let me just digest all of the GPT calories and just get fat off GPT calories. They're not gonna let me get fat off of the Claude calories. They're not gonna let me get fat off the Gemini calories. You gotta mix it up. And if you mix it up, you blend in, and you probably are not gonna hit the rates. Now, every model isn't great for certain purposes. You know, using 4.0 mini is really cheap, it's really fast, but I probably regulate it to like spell check, right? GPT 5.2, very powerful, kind of expensive, but if you need strategy, reasoning, maybe a summary of sorts, it could be justified. You have to explore and rotate models for your various use cases, and that's what the wonderful thing about today is like right now we live in a time where you really can get to work, and you might have a big idea in an industry that nobody's thinking about, and you might create your own leverage just because you're using AI. So this is what I'm gonna say. Look, we're in the future of tokens are the new calories. Tokens, those are the new calories. You can count your calories. There's some people that do that and it works for them. There's some people that don't count their calories and it doesn't work for them, and sometimes it does work for them if they got a high metabolic rate. But we are at the very beginning of consuming intelligence. That's what we're doing. We're learning how to consume intelligence. We're not searching intelligence. We're not browsing intelligence. We are consuming intelligence. And these tokens are the route at which we consume that intelligence. And we are rate limited in some cases, but that means that you actually did your work today. You cleared your goal, you crushed it because you learned as much as you could. And not every day means you're gonna get, that much stronger per se, right? Like, it's like you can't just eat some grilled chicken and think that that's the protein that's gonna turn you into Hercules. No, that's not how that works. It's about the consistency and continuously showing up and building a habit that's actually gonna lead to the growth that you're looking to see. So if you didn't hit a limit today, go use some AI. If you did hit a limit today, congrats, I'm really proud of you. You did a great job. Let's do it again tomorrow. And if you hit a limit today and you're pissed off, go wide, go find another model, add a local one, and stop looking at limits like they're failures. This is not a failure. This is the cheapest intelligence will ever be. Go ahead, use it, learn from it, talk about it, blog it. And if you got any questions for me, go ahead, leave them in the comments. But that's my take on AI. I'll catch you in the future.